Does this go off?
Yeah, it may, but so if it goes off its camera and if it goes off, it's gonna be the video.
All right.
Okay?
I'll go up there now. Well, I'm gonna knit. But this isn't gonna go off.
In me, live out in the open, shine like my light from the sun. Give of your goodness, conquer the darkness, spirit of light and love. Oh, spirit. Spirit in me. Spirit in me. Live out in the open, shine like my light from the sun. Give of your goodness, conquer the darkness, spirit of light and love. Oh, spirit, spirit in me. Give through me, speak through me, move through me, love through me. Oh, Spirit, Spirit in me. Oh, Spirit. Oh, Spirit in me. Oh, Spirit in me. Oh, Spirit.
That is the amazing and glorious Rhonda Zane. Thank you. I don't even want to say anything. Let's just sit here and be quiet for an hour with that beautiful voice and song and lyrics. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. I'm Frankie Timmers, and I'm so glad that we get to be together in person. And those of you who are here for the first time, we give away a book. So go over to the bookshelf over there, take whatever book you like, and we're so glad you're joining us. Those of you that are joining us online, whether it's today or any time after today, we're so grateful you're here with us because we do hybrid. We do both ends, in person and online. So we celebrate this idea called Center for Spiritual Living as part of a greater organization called Centers for Spiritual Living, and there's all kinds of interesting names that you're going to learn about today because way back when all of this was called religious science and teaching the science of mind. Like that's like 4 or 5 names, like what? Do we know who we are? Yes, we know who we are, and we're going to find out a little bit more about that today because I want to talk about this idea of being made new, a new day, a new moment, a new teaching, new thought, which is really not new. It's ancient wisdom in a new package, and how we can embody that, live that, and experience and express that. So that's the exploration today. And Lori Carlson, who is a licensed practitioner here, is blessing us as the assisting practitioner, and she'll share some of her magical poetry and a little spiritual practice today. As many of you know, we are doing a memorial celebration pretty quickly after Sunday celebration. All we need to do is do a little setup for the Zoom and allow those of you that don't want to stay to leave. But we're doing a memorial celebration for Carolyn Sukoff Sorelli, who many of you know as having been a part of our community and being on the Leadership Council. So that will happen pretty soon afterwards. For those of you that are new, look us up online. Our website is cslmorristown.org. It has all kinds of cool stuff, a blog, some of Lori's poetry, our events, some more information, things like that. And we have some information over here of some things that are happening and that are coming up. So I invite you to take a look at that too. We don't have the new Science of Mind magazine yet. It just shifted to 2 months in one magazine. We have a few left from the last 2 months, and they're having a little bit of a challenge getting it out on time. So I have the PDF. I put it on Facebook. Anybody who wants it, I'm happy to mail it to you with the daily guides by Reverend Joanne McFadden. So let me know that. And we do a greeting practice in our community. It's with the word namaste that many of you are familiar with. It's the Sanskrit word for the divinity in me blesses the divinity in you. So you're not just giving, you're also receiving. So put your hands together and just bow to somebody and say, namaste. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
And Lola, where's Lola? Lola, namaste, Lola. Put your hands together. I bet you can. And now let's do an opening treatment, our word for affirmative prayer. So I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And take a breath and allowing yourself to be even more present. And hearing these words as if they are the words of your higher self speaking. So I will use I, my, me, as well as we, because the I, my, me becomes the we. But in this moment, I remember that there is a governing principle in the universe. It is the creative intelligence that is everywhere present. We know this simply by looking outside the window and realizing that spring is about to happen. And it's not summer right after winter, it's spring. That is the utter predictability of spirit itself being the creative intelligence in nature. It's that same creative intelligence in my nature. And as I explore that within my own consciousness, I realize that I am ever made anew. I know this the way the cells work in my body. They're constantly renewing itself. And so this is not just true physically, but this is also true mentally, emotionally, and of course spiritually, always first. And so today I open my mind and my heart at the experience at hand, trusting and knowing that I am receiving exactly what I need to remember how every moment in me, as me, through me, for me, with me is made new, and I can choose to live from that place of newness and potential newness rather than the old. Or at minimum, I can look at the old in a new way, so that what is revealed to me is a higher idea, a higher principle to support me, to guide me in my evolution, which then becomes my gift to the world. I am so grateful for this truth and how it lives in me and how it is expressed through me in my life, in my world, in my relationships, in my service to humanity. And so what's left is a simple yet profound awe and gratitude for the gift of life. And so it is.
And so it is.
So because of today's memorial celebration for Carolyn, we do not have our treatment express, and we do invite you to come over there and look at some pictures of Carolyn later. We also have some extras for anybody that would like to take one home with them. So the theme for the month is That's How We've Never Done It. Our little journal, we still have 2 left, and if they're gone, you can order them online. But I really love that topic. It's so weird. It's so unusual. It's so different. I remember when I first came to this spiritual community 30-some years ago, that it took about 10 years for people to stop asking, can we do the old songs that we used to do, right? We like things that are familiar. We like the old. We don't always like change. And yet we're part of a spiritual community and a spiritual teaching called New Thought. New Thought is all American. It came out of the early transcendentalists of Henry David Thoreau and Ralph Waldo Emerson and Walt Whitman and the Peabody sisters and the Alcotts. All these people in Concord, Massachusetts area that were saying, let's look at life in a different and a new way. And New Thought was born. The beauty of that is there's never really a new thought because everything has already been thunk. There's only ancient wisdom in a new way of speaking and a new way of thinking and a new way of believing. And the reason that is so important is because it invites us to be more conscious, and it invites us to realize that our consciousness creates our reality. So we want to be aware of what we're thinking and how we're thinking, how we're speaking and what we're saying. And by becoming more aware, we realize that our thinking creates our reality. One of my favorite early songs was Our Thoughts Are Prayers, which is such a powerful way of saying that's New Thought. And so under the umbrella of New Thought is unity, is divine science, is religious science, which is a part of the organization that we're a part of that is founded by Dr. Ernest Holmes, who wrote our Science of Mind textbook, and about another 100 other books. The beauty of this teaching, and I'm not saying we're always practicing, and I'm not saying that we're practicing it perfectly, but the intention of New Thought is that we're inclusive, that we are embracing diversity, that we believe in equality, not just for some, but for everyone. Whether it's differences in neurodiversity, in gender, because gender has a flow, right? It's not black or white. It's not this way or that way. There's a flow and there's a whole realm of that. And then there's race, and there's background, and there's political views, and there's sexuality. There's all these differences that many people do othering around, because they're the other ones. They're not me, we, they're them, they're they. Whenever we do that, we had this opportunity to say, how can we be more embracing and how can we be more inclusive? And that's really the beginning of New Thought, even though when it all started, it was pretty much male, white, then female became more active, and really female, if we think about it, New Thought was mostly founded by women. So, and that was in the 1800s. That was before the Civil War, if I got that one right. And so there are so many ways that we can think about how we other personally. When do we say, well, they need to be more, or they should be, whether it's anyone you can think of. In some way, shape, or form, we probably all do that. So the idea is to say, where do I other and how can I, in consciousness, become more inclusive, be more embracing, be more accepting? That's part of the spiritual practice, because New Thought isn't new. It's ancient wisdom put into a way that's very contemporary and very doable. So New Thought is not just a theory, it's really a practice. And so we ask, how does New Thought that I'm a part of, because I'm here, how does it become alive? How do I live it? How do I use it? And we use healing prayer, and healing doesn't mean fixing or changing, which we often think, right? I'm treating so that I can have more money. I'm treating so I can be more healthy. I'm treating so I can have a relationship or a better relationship or get out of a relationship, right? But we treat to remember that inherently each of us are whole, perfect, and complete exactly the way we are. Once we start to do that, we begin to notice that little voice that says, yeah, but not here, not this, not that person, right? And that noticing is extremely powerful, because if we neglect it, it becomes our life. But if we say, let me think about that and work with that so I can transform it and bring it back into alignment with the truth principles, then I am an active practitioner. Then my faith, my spiritual life, my spiritual practice becomes my day-to-day living. Ernest Holmes said in the mid-50s, find me 1,000 people in the world who know what religious science is, who know what this teaching is, and use it and live it as it is, and I'll myself live to see a new world, a new heaven, and a new earth. So you and I, being here today and being part of this community, loving this teaching, are actually the ones who are co-creating a new way of living, a new earth, a new heaven. And that's really important, because if you pay attention and watch the news or are out in the world a lot, what you're hearing is the old, right? That's why right now what we're seeing in the world and what we're seeing politically is these old white men. They're either dying or they're falling away. And more we see the diversity rising, and we see youth saying, wait a minute, new life, a new way of being that's more inclusive, that's more equal, that's more diverse, that's more welcoming. And I'm not judging anything about politics, because personally I'm kind of like political, but I'm not this or that, this person or that person, this belief or that belief, this way of being political and that way. It's about making this teaching come alive, even in the world of politics. Because if we believe in division, in diversity, whichever side you're on, then we're still part of the problem. So that requires some deep thinking and some deep healing and some deep exploring, because division within shows up in division without. As within, so
Without.
right? And so we start looking at the without and seeing what we witness, and that becomes the invitation to have a new idea, a new way of looking, a new way of seeing, a new way of experiencing life. And I know that's freaking hard right now. But there's a reason why you and I are here now and not in the 1600s, the 1700s, the 1800s, the 1900s, but now, co-creating together a new future with a contemporary teaching that shows us how, in very simple ways, it becomes difficult because we believe it's difficult, or we believe it can't be done, or we believe it's too far gone. That's where we stay very clear about what it means to have the vision of a world that works for everyone and how we can each participate. So we hold a higher vision and we notice what gets in the way and we release what gets in the way, so we arrive once again at this sense of organic, original wholeness. And so how do we do that? Well, we believe there are some basic truth principles, and we practice those truth principles. We embody those true principles. We dissolve what is in the way, and sometimes just embodying the truth principles automatically dissolves what's in the way. And we notice what we notice. What are some of the basic truth principles that we believe in? They're one-word things.
Love.
Love.
One life.
One life.
Truth.
Truth.
Joy.
Joy.
Peace.
Huh?
Peace. Wisdom.
Wisdom.
Compassion.
Compassion. Those are basic truth principles. The fact that you can speak them out loud is because you know what they are. And when you say, I have no idea, it's time to start meditating. Because it's in meditation that we take a moment and let go of distractions and center ourselves in our heart of heart until we hear that internal wisdom compass that is already there. And then the question is, how do I get to practice principle in a new way? So that the principles with a small t dissolve. Principles with the small t are basically lies we tell ourselves that are separate from truth with a capital T. These beliefs and the ideas that we walk around with that make us feel like crap. Like, I'm not good enough. I don't have enough. I don't do enough. I'm old. I'm unhealthy. I'm sick. I'm lonely. What else are some of the beliefs that pop up in your mind that are limiting to you? That when you think them, you don't feel so good.
This will never work.
This will never work. Good one.
Overwhelmed.
I'm overwhelmed.
I should be different.
I should be different.
I'm tired.
I'm tired.
I'm stupid.
I'm stupid. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough blah, 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 blah. Those things, those beliefs actually harm us. So why would we not want to notice what they are and say, well, that's so interesting. I believe this limiting idea. Let me think about that. First of all, we don't beat ourselves up over those beliefs because that creates a whole other dynamic we don't really want. But we notice, well, what's the truth of it? The truth of it is right behind it. Just flip it over. What's on the other side of I'm tired?
I have energy.
I have energy. What's on the other side of I'm not good enough? I'm
more
enough.
than enough.
What's on the other side of limitation or separation? Oneness. What's on the other side of doesn't work? It works. So we give ourselves enough time to arrive at that, and the good news is you're all freaking smart as heck. Even though at times you believe you're stupid, that intelligence is the creative intelligence, the life force that is already in us. It allowed you to walk over here, or drive over here, or brush your teeth this morning, or decide that you're going to wear clothes. Whatever it may be, we're already using all these principles in ways that we don't always realize or are grateful for. So the idea of healing then is really holding, W-H-O-L-I-N-G. which is remembering the very truth of our being, our essential nature, and giving it expression. So I have a question for you. Close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself, what is it that I really, really long for? What is it that I really, really long for? What popped up for you that you're willing to share out loud in public?
Peace.
Peace,
Balance.
balance,
A strong sense of self.
a strong sense of self,
Healing.
healing,
Trust.
trust. Yes, so pay attention to those words. Then ask yourself, do I believe that is possible? Can I have a yes or a no?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Are there moments where you go, in a pig's eye, it's never going to happen?
Yes.
Yes. Those are powerful moments of having a new way of thinking about it, a new way of seeing it. Don't stop there, or you are a burden to yourself, to others, to humanity, to the world, to the planet. And so we use these lovely spiritual practice like spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer, or affirmations that we use to dispel and dissolve those moments when we get caught in the limitation of it. And we want to notice that because they're not just obstacles. They feel that way, right? They're not just obstacles. They're just grist for the mill. They're so yummy and juicy and wonderful because we know there's something on the flip side that is wanting to come through, wanting to be experienced, wanting to be revealed. So let's make new ourselves. I used to love it when my teacher said, we're a new thought. Have you had a new thought lately? So we're going to have a new thought. And the way that we have some new ideas or new thoughts today, I'm going to use S in square. I think I'm saying that right. I'm not a mathematician. That's not my strength. But it means a square, and each side of the square has an S. And each S is a practice. So the first S is be willing when you're challenged or othering or not feeling enough or not feeling fully aware of your inherent wholeness and divinity, is to see that thing differently. To see it different. Look from it upside down. Look from it sideways. Maybe with a side eye. Look from it from above. Look from it from the inside out, from the outside in. Look at it in a different way. So if you're challenged with a disease, an illness, and you're worried and anxious, all that, is pause for a moment and say, let me look at it in a different way. How can I see it in a different way? And the beauty of a meditation practice is that when you set that intention to see it in a different way, you will. Because the wisdom is already within you. It's nowhere else. So be willing to see yourself in a different way, in a new way, from a different perspective. The next one is speak differently. Speak differently. How often do you complain about the weather, about politics, about yourself, about somebody who just annoys you, about life? Begin to notice your complaints. First of all, you want to notice because those complaints turn into your life. And then you say, see, it's true. Just begin to, and speak of it differently. Use a different language. Instead of saying, I'm sick, I'm broke, I don't have enough, I don't feel loved. Speak of it in a different way. Maybe you can say, I'm experiencing an opportunity to have greater health. I am experiencing an opportunity to love myself so much that I become honey for the bees. Those are wonderful, and you all have this wonderful English language at your command, and you can use language in a different way. So it's to speak differently about the experiences that are not reflecting your longing, your desires, or the truth of your very being. Then the third one is show up differently. Show up differently. I don't know what that means for you, but for me it means, can I have a more tender heart when I'm in public? Because I find that when I'm in public, I'm kind of annoyed by drivers and people at the grocery store. I have all kinds of opinions, right? And so can I show up differently? Maybe that means saying hello, or smiling, or being grateful, or being gracious. I was at the grocery store yesterday I'd never been to, and I don't know where anything is. So I made a point to ask someone where I could find something. And before I left, I said, thank you so much. You are really working hard, and you're doing such a good job. I mean, look how you lined everything up on the shelf. Good for you. And the person went, thank you so much. So those are moments, right, that we can show up differently, and we can ask ourselves that question. How can I show up differently, especially the places where I might feel stressed or anxious or worried or insecure, right? Just to show up differently. And then the last one is to serve differently. To serve differently. If you complain about people throwing trash out of their car window, maybe it's time to grab a garbage bag and a pick and go clean up that little area. Right? I did that the other day. I was complaining to Norman about how many people in this corner throw trash out, and I'm like, Frankie, show up differently, serve differently. And I felt really good about that. So the idea of service is that as I give, so shall I receive. As I receive, so shall I give. It's the idea of circulation. Because when we practice circulation, it shows up as health in our body, our mind, our heart, our soul. And I know that many of you, most of you serve in some way, shape, or form. And I don't think there's anybody that says, well, that felt like shit. I hated that. Most of us kind of go, oh, that was so nice. That felt really good, right? Because we tend to get very self-absorbed. And we forget that there's ways and places where we can share our talents and our gifts. So, see things differently, speak differently, show up differently, and serve differently. Your S square. We are made new every moment. I don't have the statistics. I think some of you might because it's part of your profession. But your cells renew constantly. Right now, the cells in your body are renewing. How long does it take for a liver to renew itself?
7 years, right?
7 years, yeah, doctors in the room. How long does it take for a paper cut to heal? A couple of days, right? That is your... So that is your cells renewing. At a cellular level, there's such fast renewal going on. If we can just translate that in regards to ourselves spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, then we become aware of the miraculousness of life and what's possible. So this is the year for us to really prove these wonderful principles. You know that there's a lot of people seeking to be part of a more inclusive community, a community that offers a spiritual teaching that works, a community where they feel welcome and accepted and loved, a community where they feel equal, and if they don't feel those ways, they can be part of creating that. I love it when somebody comes forward and says, you know what I've noticed in this community is that we're not very welcoming to fill in the blank. And I say, well, come, let's talk about that and let's make that happen. Let's work on that, because I am also a little blind. We all have blind spots, right? And so the idea is that, do we notice that there is brokenness in the world? If we notice there is brokenness in the world, stop complaining about it or putting it on Facebook every 5 minutes, because nobody's paying attention anyway. And those people who are paying attention already agree with you. Sit in prayer, in meditation, hold a higher vision, work with this idea of prayer and meditation, work with what's in the way and dissolve that, and really remember that recognizing and celebrating our inherent wholeness is a lifelong practice for all of us until we take our last breath. As far as I know, it probably goes on after that. And so that is something to celebrate in each other, because we're all doing it. And so we get to see the gloriousness of how we're all doing that in our own way and supporting each other in that way, in a different way, in a new way. So now we have the beautiful Rhonda Dene again, singing another song. And then we welcome Lori with a spiritual practice and one of her poems.
I'm going to remember all of those S's. They were easy to remember.
Right?
Yes. All right. You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings. With every step you take, bless the progress that you make. The moment you live is in every gift you give. Love your life and love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Oh, the places you will go and the people you will know. Don't worry when or where or how. You don't need to know that now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes, take a breath, and smile. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things.
Talk about amazing. That's the amazing Rhonda Dene and her angelic voice. Thank you so much, Rhonda. So, Reverend Frankie was talking about ancient wisdom and new ways to use it, right? So, this is not exactly ancient, but this is an old poem of mine that I wrote in 2020, just as I was beginning practitioner training, and it's very relevant to today's topic because it's talking about that ancient wisdom and about our subconscious minds and everything as within, so without, right? So we're going to do a little practice about that, but first this is the poem I'd like to share with you. It's called Unconscious Invitation. So much more lies behind our closed eyes than what we perceive. But it's what we receive. Those buried ideas of old, concepts so ingrained, they hold us in their silent grip and can cause us to trip over obstacles that we place before us. Things we dare not face as they stem from deep inside. Things we don't see. Things we hide. But they do rear their heads as we make our own beds, whether consciously or not. Still, you asked for what you got. This is why it behooves us to do the inner work without fuss and pay attention to what we're thinking and try to notice how it's linking to what we experience day to day. Not me, you might say. I never asked for this in my life. I never wanted to have this strife. But once you know the workings of law and see how you've appropriated all that you saw and all that you've heard becomes a part of your subconscious mind, that's the place to start to free yourself of any old blocks. By recognizing life's hard knocks can be seen as a way to grow. And with awareness, you'll soon know that you've got what you got, whether a little or a lot, because of what you believe. So don't yourself deceive. Don't blame it on conditions or a failure of religious traditions, but be open to taking a good hard look at your own mind. Study it like a book. And soon you'll come to see that the only way to truly be free is to work with the pain and acknowledge its source. Become one with divine energy. Use divine force to be lifted up into a higher plane where you've only understanding and good to gain. So take a deep look into your mind with stillness and curiosity, while being kind to yourself. Acknowledge that you are one with God, with all of life, and affirm that you're now done with manifesting anything from a place that isn't all love and filled with God's grace. Thank you. From 2020, it still rings true, right? So I would like to, bring you into a little practice that you can take home with you. I'm sure most of you are familiar with applied kinesiology. So, this is our body's innate wisdom, right? Reverend Frankie was saying, the wisdom is always available to us. It is within us. And this is one way that we can access the body's understanding of that wisdom. And it's something that you can take home and use at home. So I'm going to just demonstrate a really simple thing. I'm turning to the side so everybody can see. So the body, your muscles react to a high vibration, to truth with a capital T. So you tend to sway forward towards a true statement and backwards towards a negative or a lower vibration statement, okay? So if I say, all right, so first we're just gonna settle into our body, become totally present and grounded, and then I'm gonna say, my name is Lori. And I'm not doing that, guys. It just happens. And then if I say, my name is Reverend Frankie, I sway back. I don't know if you can see it, but I can definitely feel it. And I'm not doing it. So I'm going to invite us all to stand and to, put your shoulders over hips, become solidly, make sure your feet are firmly planted. And first we're going to start by taking a deep breath. And we're going to do a 4-part breath, just like S squared, S cubed, or whatever, S squared, whatever everybody said. So we're going to do a 4-count breath. So we're going to inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and then stay empty for 4 before the next breath, just to totally center, okay? So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And you can just return to your regular breath. And hopefully that sort of centered you in your body and in this moment. Okay, and you can either place your hands on your lower abdomen or you can just let them hang. And so now we're all going to just, to get our baseline, I want you to say, my name is, whatever your name is, and see if you can feel a sway in your body. And then after that, we're all going to say, my name is Reverend Frankie, everybody except Reverend Frankie, and see if you can feel a sway in your body that way. Okay, everybody got it?
Yeah.
All right, so my name is Lori.
Okay, that's weird.
My name is Reverend Frankie. Everybody feel it?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to take that into spiritual principle. So here's the thing. So I am not enough. I am not enough. I am a spark of the divine. I am a spark of the divine. You feel it?
Yeah.
You feel it? So now I invite you to choose an individual thing. You don't have to say it out loud if you're not comfortable saying it out loud. You can just say it in your head. But choose what it is for you. What is a limiting belief that you still have? And then say the opposite as a spiritual truth. Now, I'm going to show you something interesting. Okay? So, I know that I'm perfect, whole, and complete. But when I say, I'm too old, I still lean forward a little bit. Okay? So now what that shows me, that's not truth with a capital T, but what that shows me is that somewhere in my subconscious, I still believe that. So that is my work to do. That is where I still have work, because I know that I am perfect, whole, and complete. And I know that I am a divine spark of the one life. And sometimes I still feel too old. But I know that age is just a number. So, whatever it is for you, I invite you to really just spend a moment, think about it. Think of something that is a limiting belief for you and try it out. You don't have to say it out loud if you're not comfortable, but say it in your head, see what your body tells you, see what your subconscious is telling you about that, and then say the opposite. Say the spiritual truth. Even if you can't think of what it is, just say, I am a spark of the divine. That works every time. So you say, I am not worthy. I am a spark of the divine. I don't have enough. I am one with abundant flow. Whatever it is for you. And then we're going to do one more together, okay? So this last one is, I am in the flow of an abundant universe. And as I give, so I receive. And now you can all sit down. And from that place of recognizing that as you give, so you receive, and that you live in an abundant universe, it is time for our offertory. How is that for a transition, guys? So I'm going to pass around the basket. You can use Venmo to give. You can text to give. You can go on our website and hit the donate button. You can volunteer to do a social hour here. You can bring your friends to a celebration. There are so many ways to give to support this community, but just know that you give from a place of receiving. You give from a place of being fed, right? This community feeds your spiritual soul. So give from that place. Give from that grateful, joyful, abundant energy. And know that as you give, so you receive, and so it is in the flow, and it is all divine good. And so I invite you to put your hands over your heart if you're so inspired, and to repeat after me. Divine grace consecrates my gift.
Divine grace consecrates my gift.
I give joyfully.
I give joyfully.
I give abundantly.
I give abundantly.
And I give from that place within me
And I give from that place within me
that knows
that
as I give,
as I give,
so I receive.
so I receive.
And so it returns to me,
And so it returns to me,
multiplied abundantly.
multiplied abundantly.
And so it is.
And so it is.
So you can just keep the basket going if it's if there's envelopes in there, and we'll just keep that going throughout. But now we are going to come to the end of our celebration today, and so we are going to close the way we always do, with a spiritual mind treatment, which is our word for affirmative prayer. So we are going to affirm the ancient wisdom that we are finding a new way. We're going to affirm that we are in alignment with spiritual principle and truth. And we are going to affirm that as a community, we are ever growing, ever expanding, ever experiencing love in a new way. Sound good? All right, so I invite you to close your eyes and to hear these words as if they were your own. And so, as I take this breath, and draw my attention to that place within me where divinity lives, where I recognize the oneness of all of life, where I recognize the inherent wisdom that exists inside me, because it is one with divine wisdom, because there is one mind, and I am a spark of that one mind. And so I know that as this is true for me, this is true for each one listening. This is the truth. And so I affirm that I use this truth. I use this truth to change how I see, how I speak, how I show up, and how I serve. I use this truth to stay in greater alignment with the One, so that I can be a better vessel of love in action. That is who we are as a community. We are that force of love in the world. And we go forth from this celebration, from this time together today, uplifted, supported, empowered by one another, and by what we have shared here and learned here and heard here, so that we can go forth and be the best expressions of spirit that we can be. I know that this is the truth of who and what we are. We are divine light, just wanting to shine brighter in the world. And so I embrace that. I embody that, as I know each one here does. And so, using our spiritual practices, we set forth into the world to be that channel, to be that example, to be that love in action, and to shine our light bright. And so with deep gratitude for knowing this truth, for being in alignment with principle, with deep gratitude for this beautiful community of which we are blessed to be a part, and with deep gratitude for every moment that I get to spend in prayer and in consciousness with the One, I release this word. I release it into that ever-present and loving law, which must demonstrate it based upon my beliefs. And so I let it go joyfully. I let it go gratefully. And I let it go expectantly because I know it is already done in the law. And so I let it be. And I invite you to join me in saying, and so it is. And now we have the amazing Rhonda Dene back again.
This has been a beautiful service. Yes, yes, yes. All right. My mind is open to changing the world. Let it begin, let change begin with me. My heart embraces a world wrapped in peace. Let it begin, let peace begin with me. I am an agent of change, a sweet dove of peace. I am love, I am love. I am an agent of change, a sweet dove of peace. I am love, unfolding. My eyes envision a world aglow in love. Let it begin, let love begin with me. We move together toward all that is just. Let it begin, let justice begin with me. We are agents of change, we are sweet doves of peace, we are love, we are love. We are agents of change, sweet doves of peace, we are love, unfolding. You are an agent of change, a sweet dove of peace, you are love, you are love. You are